is in session, so you can stop guessing if this is a clip or a written down memo. See, I am a professional. This is not a demo. In fact, call it a lecture, a visual picture, sort of a poetic in rhythm like Nestor. Listen, I'm not dissing, but there's something that you're missing. Maybe you should touch reality. Stop looking for beats with plenty bass and lyrics set in haste. If its meaning doesn't manifest, put it to rest. I am a poet. You try to show it, yet blow it. It takes concentration for fresh communication, observation. That is to see without speaking. Take off your coat, take notes. I am teaching a class or rather school, because you need schooling. I am not a king or queen, I'm not ruling. This is an introduction to poetry, a small dedication to those that might know of me, they might know of you. And maybe you can, but one thing's for sure, neither one of y'all can hang. Because yo, I'm like a that's got the crossbow. Say something now. Thought so. You seem to be the type to only understand the annihilation and destruction of the next man. That's not poetry, that is insanity. It's simply fantasy, far from reality. Poetry is the language of imagination. Poetry is a form of possible creation. Typical, isn't it the point? You're missing it, your face is in front of my hand, so I'm dissing it. Yeah, what up, y'all? How are you guys doing on this Saturday evening? As soon as you hop in here, do your man a favor, man, and hit the like button so we can bring some more people over here. I got a good one for you guys today. Bunch of information for you guys today. I'm going to be going live tomorrow, guys. I'm going to be live streaming an anniversary tomorrow, guys. A church anniversary tomorrow. On this platform and hopefully on the church's platform. Let me get the information. But I'm gonna be down in North Charleston and just crazy. Like I was down in Hampton, Virginia for a family reunion this past weekend, and me and Kaji was walking into this in downtown Hampton. They got this NASA. Like a NASA kids museum type deal. And I'm walking, when we checked in, I saw this dude who I thought I knew, but you know, everybody looked like somebody you think you know. And so we ended up walking down the street and I seen the guy coming out of the building. I'm like, oh my goodness, man. My homie, my teammate, Reverend Jeffrey Graham. Matter of fact, let me get this. Let me see, can I get this up on here? Saw him there in Hampton and we got to talking and anyway, they're having a church anniversary tomorrow. Providence AME Church. It's the 134th church anniversary and it's going to take place again tomorrow at 4 p.m. The address is 206. Hold on, let me pull this up because I can't see that. Let me move it for you. I should say to myself. But I got I want to talk tonight too, man. We're gonna be talking tonight about the case out in Williamsburg County, where the former clerk of court was recently indicted on a 10-count indictment, embezzlement, improper, improper behavior in office of an elected official. And y'all know that's one thing I cannot stand, elected officials, but let's keep things clear here. This lady is innocent until proven guilty. And but what is she charged with? You know what I mean? What exactly is she charged with? And I think it's important to have a clear understanding on what it is we're going to get into what the money that she's accused of stealing. We're going to get into what that money is and where that money comes from and how it comes from, made its way from Washington, D.C. all the way to the hands of the Williamsburg County Clerk of Court. And it's alleged by the Williamsburg County prosecutor that some of that money made its way into the account of one Miss Sharon
Staggers, who is the former clerk of court of Williamsburg County in South Carolina. So yeah, we're gonna get into that, but I done got off track here, but I'll come back and do that. But yeah, tomorrow, that address is 2060 Jacksonville Road, North Charleston, South Carolina, 29406. Again, tomorrow, the 134th anniversary, church anniversary, rebuilding the temple stone by stone is the theme. And again, I was invited by my friend Reverend Jeffrey Graham, who's the host pastor. And I think the guest speaker tomorrow is going to be Reverend Thornell Thompson of Ebenezer Zion Church from Holly Hill, South Carolina. So I look forward to getting there. I'll be there early so I can get set up and bring it to you guys. And you know what I mean? Hopefully you guys enjoy it. So look forward. It's going to be at 4 p.m. tomorrow. So we'll be going live tomorrow at 4 p.m. from Providence AME Church, celebrating their 134th church anniversary. Wow. That's big right there. But again, tonight, y'all, and I appreciate you guys for checking in. If you would come on over, got a great conversation with you. Go ahead and hit the like button so we can bring some more people over. We're going to talk about the case out of Williamsburg County. We're going to do a little bit more, a deeper dive in that. Because when I first got up here, what I did is I read the indictment and just kind of read the indictment verbatim, and then had some time now to look over it and to dig into what it is exactly that they're accusing Miss Staggers of. Again, she's the former clerk of court from Williamsburg County, South Carolina. And I'm sorry, y'all, but I'm looking for a document here. When did this indictment come down? Let's just look over here. All right, so she's accused of let me be careful with my terminologies. She's accused of stealing money that was intended for, okay, here it is right there. That was intended for the child support program, right? And so here's the indictment right here. And we'll go into that at a point in this, right? And so she was accused of removing what was called Title 4D money. And I guess the first question would be, what is Title 4D money of Social Security? Okay. And Title 4D is part of the Federal Social Security Act. It provides money to states to help them run their child support program. It helps with things like enforcement, staffing. It helps with, if you create different programs for mothers and fathers. It helps with tracking down parents and making sure the kids get the money that they deserve, right? That they're entitled to, I should say. And the question, what I want to make clear here for you all is how did this money end up in the hands of the clerk of court in Williamsburg County, right? This Title 4D money. And so you can see through this flow chart right here, what happens is the federal government, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, they allocate this money that is reimbursement money for the states, right? And so this money flows down from the federal government, from DC, and it flows down from DC, and they send it to each state, and each state, right, they send it down to the state level. So from the state level, state governments receive these funds and they use them to support, again, like I was saying, child support enforcement, office systems, staffing, etc. All kinds of different things that they use this money for. Okay. This thing's playing in my ear. There you go. Okay, so let me move this off of the screen here real fast so you guys can see this. And this is again the flow chart for the Title 4D 4D money. And Title 4D is just telling you that this is look at Title 4D as being a chapter in a book of rules. And that book of rules being the Social Security Act, right? And this is kind of, it's a reimbursement program for states for the child support program. So that money comes from the federal government down to the states, and then it goes from the states, all right, from the state levels. Again, this money is dispersed to the counties. Okay. And then the county clerks, that's how, in this case, she got access to this money. This is where this money came from. This is child support money that was sent down, and it's supposed to be handled for a specific reason, right? According to the law. Clerk of court, some local administratives include clerk of court handling and distributing portions of those funds. They may receive salary, administrative support. And so that's why, again, I started us off by saying this lady has the presumption of innocence. Now, I don't think, I'm not a lawyer, but that's interesting that that's a part of that. You know what I mean? And she's saying that she embezzled money according to the indictment, which is right here. The amount of money that ended up being the total of what they're saying that she embezzled is 119,000, right at 100, right at 120,000, a little over $119,000. Okay. And in the indictment, you can see here by each count, it'll break down by the counts. Count one is official misconduct in office. Count two, we can get this thing to slide. There we go. Count two is it said that $4,000. If you guys want to add it up in the chat for me and give me a total, somebody. So we have $4,000 they said that she diverted from this Title 4D money, and we just talked about this. This money comes from the child support program, and it's supposed to come back to it makes its way from the federal government, from DC back to Williamsburg County, where the clerk of court has access to it, and it's supposed to be using it for specific reasons, right? And according to this indictment, they're saying that she embezzled. Here's the first count back in 2019, of $4,000. Again, let's keep count here. In 2020, $14,500. Okay, and 2021, and I think, and I mean, 31,000. $115.32. Okay. Now, here's what's also interesting about that is that in getting ready for this, I did my research and I found this. And in this picture right here, you see and centered is Becky Hill from Colleton County, who was recently arrested. The other lady right there is she's also a clerk of court. And again, you see Miss Staggers there, right? Because I was following this back when Miss Staggers was running for office. Okay. And so let's and this I got this right here from the Post and Courier. And this is the first line in this, and this is kind of crazy because I had a conversation today, and one of the things was, because I was like, well, the language says that, boom, that basically, if the way I read it, she could give herself a raise because she is part of the staff. You know what I mean? And we talk in Williamsburg County, so it ain't like, they was gonna bring somebody else in for that little bit of money. In the scheme of things, it's a little bit of money. In the grand scheme of things, when you stretch it out over a number of years, right? Um, so this was in the Post and Courier, and it says right here, you can read it yourself. It says, "Remember back in 2022 when this," and I got this line verbatim from that article, so you can go look it up and you'll see this picture right here, or you can put that line in and pull it up. It says, "Remember back in 2022 when we had a single Brazen County clerk, clerk of court, who was audacious enough to think that she could get away with giving herself a $30,000 raise after council rejected it." And that's the part that, in the conversation of the day, that's what was said. It was like, maybe if she had gotten it approved through council. And I'm like, yeah, and I said, well, maybe she did. And then no sooner than I went and started looking up and back into some of this stuff, this was there because this was brought up in the interview that I had, where of course I'm going to have to replay that in a minute. And I guess that's why I do these interviews, because this is, and when did she give herself this raise that they said she was brazen enough to do, audacious enough? This was when, this was before 2022, according to these documents, right? Let's go back one page. Yeah, because this right here says in 2021. So it says on or about 2021 or about December 2021, 2022, around that time. This is when the $30,000 raise was given. Okay. So that changes the whole complexion of it, right? If that is the truth, that's true. Because I don't have no way of verifying that unless I can get Councilman Wilson on the phone and verify that. All right. And here we go. Count 5. I'm sorry, I threw you off, whoever was keeping count. But count 5, we're at $11,536. Count 6, we're at 29,000. And this is presumably after, here's 2022. All this was going on after council had rejected it. So this is not good. But my question is the timing again. Why did they wait so long to do this? Why you wait so long? But it does. I have no quarters for public corruption. 17,000. This was in 2023, presumably after the council had had shot it down. And I'm hearing that, people were warning these folks about Tiffany Cooks, who's also caught up in this charge. And then for some reason in 2023, the last hit was for 4,800, kind of back to where we began at $4,818.09. And I'm gonna tell you something else that's interesting in here when they talk about because I'm wondering if they are using that fundraiser that she has as a part of the case, because they said that they're receiving gifts. It talks about her staff being receiving benefits and kickbacks from the events that they were throwing with this money. With this money. With that money. But yeah. So where we at? Did we finish this off? So yeah, that's the question. How did that money? So yeah, what is the indictment? Again, we just went into that. What it's alleging? It's alleging that she was moving this money, this child support money, this money that was supposed to be for child support. And we know how child support drags a lot of people. I mean, it's a system that's like a nightmare for a lot of people. And to think that, the people that are paying, that are contributing, their money is not getting to where it's supposed to be because some of it is ended up into the hands of a public official who unilaterally, according to that article back from 2020, this article was done in 2024, that alleged that these clerks of courts were dipping into that federal money. Now I don't understand why a federal indictment didn't come down, but yeah, that's what happened with that Title 4D money. That Title 4D money that was supposed to be, for everybody who can't find their baby daddy or find the baby daddy. Part of that money was supposed to be for that. That's why you can't find them. So, and I mean, I don't think it's not a lot of money. It's really not a lot of money. Not for the headaches you're getting ready to go through. It's not a lot of money for what you're going through. But here's the other side of that, because I know a lot of people. I was reading social media and they're just kind of happy and thrilled with what's going on. I'll say this to Miss Staggers: this is it. You know what I mean? Like, it's finally, you got it right here in front of you. So now you're not going to prison. I don't think. I don't think you. You know. So, I mean, what else can they say? What else can they say now? After this, what else you got? Okay. This is getting ready to be behind you. You already heading to the other side of this. Whatever the outcome is, that's what it's going to be. And so, but so I just want to give people an understanding of what it is that where this money come from and where the confusion may have occurred. Don't know. Again, I'm not a lawyer, but I do play one sometimes on here. Not very good. I wouldn't retain me. I wouldn't hire me as a lawyer. Maybe a stream or pest control guy, definitely, but lawyer, not so much. So, let me see if I can get this thing up on the screen before I get up on the chat. See if I can get it up on the screen. Yeah, but it's not worth the money. I mean, what, you took a little extra trip, you know what I mean? Had a good Christmas, all that good work and all that hard work. And I mean, and I sat down and talked with this woman. So you're talking to somebody who put some programs in place and who did some real work in King Street. And now, pending this legal situation, this could be the legacy that is, put over to her whole career as a clerk of court. And why? Because you listen to Tiffany is just, I mean, and Williamsburg County as a whole, like maybe this is the turnaround, because I doubt that she's the only one over there. Y'all better go watch New Jack City and pay attention to Nino Brown, Chris Williams, Bigger Than Me. You know what I mean? Because it's high time for this corruption, and it just don't end well. I don't know what part of your education betrays you to make you think that, okay, I'm smarter than this system, or I don't know what it is in your lifestyle that causes you to take these, at this point I'm sure you would agree, an unnecessary risk, and deal with this public humiliation, and to see some of your quote unquote detractors again celebrate on you. I mean, the town, the county of Williamsburg spoke. They didn't reelect you, so they didn't have, you didn't get a vote of confidence. So, and kudos to the voters of King Street, because this would have been a bigger scandal had you been in office when this dropped. So, there's, if you was looking for a silver lining, guys, there is one. Okay, but yeah. So again, if you get in office and you touch them people money, you go into jail, and you should, and you should. You should. I keep forgetting to do this. And I saw where the principal was, from Andrew's side, was expressing that a decision hadn't been made. I guess, people were continually calling, and to the point where I guess it's starting, and obviously, is concerning to her. And I understand why. I understand why, because lady does a lot of good work, a lot of hard work around there, and the economic hit that this is going to take. But that's the results of indecision. That's when you like the old people say, when you hem and haw. Here we go. And so, because when nobody steps in and says, all right, here's what's going on, take the leadership role, here's what's going on, here's how this is going to go, bam, 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 here are the rules, take it or like it, take it or leave it, then you got a decision. But when you leave room for speculation, guess what people do? They speculate. Okay. And so opinions like assholes, everybody has one. And oh, I am zoned out. Zoned out. Zoned out. All right, there we go. But yeah, I don't know. Y'all tell me what y'all think. Do you think she's guilty? Do you think she take a plea? Do you think she go to trial? Do you think she's being falsely accused? Because you got some people that's absolutely sure as to what's going on about it. At least you would think they are. But either way, it's not a good look. So ain't no way to candy coat it or sugar coat it or whatever kind of coating you want to put on it. It ain't no good look. And so my question would be also, how many other clerks of courts have been dipping into this money, rewarding themselves with that Title 4D money, right? Because this is not good company right here. So 2 out of these 3 have been to jail. I got to check on the lady on the right. I'm going to be careful right here. But she has a big neck. She's got a big neck. But I'll see if she has joined that crew. But yeah, this was kind of, and it's a lesson for me. You know what I mean? It's a lesson for me. You know what I mean? Jumping in these races, getting involved in these races, and throwing throwing my credibility behind, folks that are not fully understanding the situation. Just kind of chasing the bag, so to speak. And that's a straight up and down honest assessment. You know what I mean? But I do know that this was, when I did the interview, whatever I felt, I don't think it came across. Maybe it did, because I will insert foot in mouth on regular goddamn occasions. You know what I mean? But yeah, this is I think about, the people who set the interview up, and what was the motivations, because I expressed concerns, to people who know me, to my inner circle. I was expressing concerns to them about the situation, and I wanted to go into it, and I got to go back and look at it and see how did I conduct myself, and I'm gonna learn from it. Definitely gonna learn from it. I do know. Hopefully, some of you politicians learn from that. You know, obviously, you never thought that crime paid, because you chose a life that ended you up in a elected, position, that you lived a life at some point that made you electable. You know, why choose a life of crime at, don't know, but I do got this thing loaded up here, and I want to shout out again tomorrow. Okay. Boom. Reverend Jeffrey Graham, who's the host pastor. It's going to be Providence AME Church's 134th church anniversary, rebuilding the temple one stone by stone. Again, that's going to take place tomorrow, which is August 17th, 2025 at 4 p.m. The address is 2060 Jacksonville Road, North Charleston, South Carolina, 29405. The guest speaker for tomorrow evening will be Reverend Thornell Thompson of Ebenezer Zion out of Holly Hill, South Carolina. And again, you can check that out here live on Andrew's The Podcast and my personal page. And I'm going to stream it to a couple different platforms. So you'll be able to get it here tomorrow. So tune in and let's celebrate the 134th church anniversary with Providence AME Church tomorrow, and my classmate and friend Jeffrey Graham. All right, that's what we're gonna do. So, all right. Anyway, politicians, don't steal.